She betrayed me, with him, but instead of walking away, I made them both pay the price, slowly, painfully, and publicly. This isn't just revenge. This is justice served cold. This is my cousin Stan's true story. He doesn't want to discuss it, but I'll tell you so you don't make the same mistake he did. He discovered his fiancée using a stuffed bear to cheat 3 weeks ago. How precisely? Keep an eye out. The romance between Bianca and Stan was never a happy ending. It told the tale of two adults who had already experienced hurt and loss. She was 27 and he was 32. On their first date, they met through mutual friends in a typical way. Bianca had told him the truth while they were sitting by the window in a quiet coffee shop. She put her hands around her coffee cup and said, "I just broke up with my ex. We spent 3 years together. Now, his name, Bobby, is a thing of the past. A closed chapter, and a blocked number," she had said firmly. "He doesn't exist to me anymore." Stan nodded and held his cup without drinking, saying, "I'm single now." "I've been single for 2 years," he said. "I have some scars from my previous relationship." They both knew trust was a process that took time to develop. They didn't want to be harmed again, they therefore vowed to never cheat on one another or intentionally harm one another from the beginning. Stan hoped, he thought, that Bianca would keep her word, and he knew he would. They spent 2 years dating. Although it wasn't flawless, their relationship was genuine. And in some way, that added to its specialness. Stan felt as though he already knew the answer the night he made the decision to pop the question. When he knelt down in front of her at their favorite park, the one where they had first walked together until sunrise, his heart was still racing. He had a little velvet box in his hand. His voice was a little shaky as he said, "Bianca, you should always be my home. Are you going to wed me?" She let out a gasp and put both hands over her mouth as tears welled up in her eyes. "Indeed, Stan, indeed," and the world came to a halt. There was only the two of them, their promise, and all the hope for the future. They had a lot of fun and laughter during the first few months of their engagement. Being with her was always something Stan looked forward to. Stan worked as a data analyst for a large tech company in our town, while Bianca was an online retailer and social media influencer. He preferred order, measurable outcomes, and a sense of control. He missed a lot because of the long hours. Dinners, romantic evenings, or simply lounging and conversing. Bianca, however, didn't appear to mind. As if nothing were wrong, she would simply smile while working on another video or conversing with her fans. Then the shift began. As part of its embrace of the new normal, the company switched Stan's team to a hybrid model that strongly favored remote work. Stan was home all of a sudden. He initially embraced the closeness, more time spent together, he reasoned, less stress from commuting, but the continual presence started to erode the edges of their well-maintained routine. He began to get annoyed by little things that he had once found endearing, like the way she hummed while editing videos, her constant phone conversations with fans, and an unwashed cup left on the counter. Then he began to notice things, or maybe he began to search for things. His analytical mind searches the domestic data stream for patterns. When he passed by, Bianca instinctively angled the screen away, appearing jitterier and more protective of her phone than normal. If he looked over her shoulder, she would quickly swipe to close apps. She occasionally sounded a little too bright when she laughed. Sometimes her justifications for her late-night texting sessions seemed scripted. Trained to pick up on irregularities, Stan experienced a discordant chord strike inside of him. The uneasiness grew like a silent corruption of data as he recorded these moments and stored them away in the back of his mind. It was the strain of organizing her wedding and keeping up her online image, he told himself. However, his inner analyst muttered otherwise. The discordant chord turned into a loud clang one Tuesday night. The sound of running water provided a steady background to the apartment's quiet hum while Bianca was in the shower. The living room was being cleaned by Stan. Then a low, persistent vibration reached his ears. This was coming from the bedroom, muffled, and closer than Bianca's usual phone charging station on the kitchen counter. Curiosity, with a hint of suspicion he would not admit, drew him to their bedroom. He followed the vibration to the king-sized bed. He recalled Bianca's light-hearted references to a new personal massager she had ordered, which was renowned for its quiet buzzing. A small, nearly uncontrollable grin appeared on his lips. That might have been it. Fingers searching, he reached into the soft mess, his hand closed on cool, hard plastic and glass instead of smooth silicone. He took it out. It was a phone, not a toy, another phone, slim, black, unknown. The screen came to life as he held it. In stark contrast to the dark background, a missed call notification glowed, and below that, the name that chilled the blood. Then, Bobby, he surged, his veins burning hot. Immediately after the call icon faded, a message preview bubble appeared. The phone did not need to be unlocked by Stan. The words were ruthlessly obvious. Call me back, sweetie. Stan remained motionless. Bobby is not a forgotten person, a blocked number, a current contact, or something secret or hidden. Stan's meticulously crafted reality broke apart, exposing an unsightly thing writhing beneath it. He didn't realize he was only a supporting actor in the play, but the assurances, the promises, and the wide-eyed sincerity all seemed like props. Bianca froze when she saw Stan after emerging from the bathroom. Still steaming from her shower and wrapped in a fluffy white towel. Holding up the second phone like it was a smoking gun, he stood rigidly by the bed. His expression was icy and angry. What? Stan's voice was tight and dangerously low. Bianca, what the devil is this? Bianca's gaze flicked back and forth between the phone and Stan's face. A brief moment of panic was swiftly covered up by practiced calm. She tilted her chin slightly and inhaled deeply. Calm down, Stan, it's not what you believe, is it not? The control snapped and he shot back. A second phone, concealed, with Bobby's messages calling you, sweetie. The sarcasm was evident in the word, Stan, he is no longer in my life. Not like that, she demanded, approaching. He contacted you some time ago, Bobby. He currently works at a high level in marketing professionally. Stan, he's connected. He's assisting me in landing a big skin care brand deal. Such a contract might put us in a precarious position. Stan gaped in disbelief. Assisting you? For business purposes, you exchange baby messages while concealing a phone. It's not easy. A tiny crack in the facade caused Bianca's voice to rise. It's just shorthand for the baby thing. An outdated, pointless habit from years ago. Look, with thumbs flying across the screen, she grabbed her primary phone off the nightstand. She opened a chat window with Bobby's real name on it. Look at these messages, you see, call scheduling and brand strategy discussions. Stan, it's work. She extended the phone. Stan skimmed through the messages she showed. Unquestionably, they were professional. Time stamps, meeting details, and PDF files with information on campaign metrics, tidy and professional. He was struck with doubt. Had he assumed the worst based on a single word and a concealed phone? Her words made sense. In any case, influencer material was always disorganized. With his wet hair and wide, beseeching eyes, he gave her the impression that he had done nothing wrong. Guilt began to seep in. He felt foolish, envious, and haunted by Bobby once more after the anger subsided. Bianca brushed a lock of hair behind her ear and laughed softly, almost hurt. I understand, Stan, she said in a soft but slightly hurt tone, you really don't trust me. Stan tensed. No, that isn't it, Bianca whispered, I should have told you about the second phone. Perhaps you wouldn't have felt the need to inquire about my well-being if I had. She wasn't making any accusations, she was not required to. Its weight was sufficient. Feeling like a fool, a suspicious, jealous fool, Stan muttered, I'm sorry. He needed to compensate her. His outburst last night was ugly and completely inappropriate. To fix it, he needed something large. He had an idea the following day. Yes, it was cheesy. But it matched Bianca's penchant for cheesy, adorable things. He purchased the largest, fluffiest teddy bear he could find at a posh toy store, a silly satin bow, cream fur, large sad button eyes, and a tiny voice recorder concealed inside for children to leave messages. At home, Stan hit the record button before he showed it. He poured his apologies into the bear's paw-hidden microphone. His voice was thick with forced sincerity as he said, "B, my love. I sincerely apologize for my doubts about you last night. The best thing that has ever happened to me is you are everything to me, I love you and I trust you." That night, he presented the bear with a flourish, burying her face in its soft fur. Bianca let out a delighted squeal. "What's his name, Stan?" "He's so cute." Stan grinned, feeling somewhat in control again. "Be whatever you want to be. However, he has a message for you." She pressed the recorder button after he let her hand there. The room was filled with the earnest, apologetic sound of his recorded voice. This time, Bianca's eyes actually got teary. She flung her arms around Stan and gave him a firm embrace. "I love you too, Stan. I accept your apology and have completely forgotten about it." She gave the bear the name Barnaby, and it became a focal point of their living room couch. A tense calm prevailed for a week. Stan made an effort to forget about the incident, the second phone, and the discordant note that kept coming back to him. The next Saturday followed. Stan was carefully placing snacks on the coffee table in preparation for the afternoon baseball game. He moved Barnaby and plumped the couch pillows. His thumb unintentionally pressed the recorder button that was tucked into the bear's paw as he was moving the heavy animal. Instead of hearing his own cheesy apology, a different voice filled the silent room. Bianca's voice was conspiratorial and clear. Not the slightly strained voice from their argument, nor the voice she used for her followers. This was different. She wasn't speaking to him. And it was more casual and personal. "Absolutely bleed them dry, Bob," Bianca said softly into what Stan assumed was the second phone, which was concealed and likely kept close while she was relaxing against the bear. "These so-called miracle serums have a criminal markup. All we have to do is continue to provide them with the engagement metrics they desire. Give it another quarter. The ambassador fee alone by then." A low chuckle trailed off her voice. Stan's stomach clenched into a cold knot. She was conniving them with Bobby while discussing the skincare brand. However, things worsened. The tone of the business conversation changed to one that was huskier and softer. "All right," Bianca whispered, pausing. "Gotta run." Then she spoke in a private, unmistakably promising voice. "Baby, I miss you. Really, just be prepared tonight. You won't forget tonight, I assure you." One more low laugh, followed by the clear click of a call terminating. The refrigerator's faint hum was the only sound to break the silence. Under his feet, the ground seemed to have vanished. "Don't forget to con the customer tonight, baby." Wasn't merely a dumb shorthand. Not all of it was business, it was her ex-boyfriend Bobby. They were collaborators in both their personal and professional deception. The recording was unquestionable, indisputable evidence that was recorded by the same tool that Stan had used to pretend to be trustworthy. He had turned the apology bear into his Trojan horse. Not only had she lied, but she had also skillfully manipulated him, capitalized on his guilt, and woven a convoluted web of lies while organizing secret meetings and making fun of their clients behind his back. The gullible influencer was a liar, and her greatest mark had been him, Stan, the astute data analyst. This new devastating input started to be processed by his mind, which was typically filled with data sets and algorithms. The client's scam, Bobby's involvement, Bianca's deceit, and the scheduled meeting for tonight are all variables, retribution that is objective and goes beyond mere exposure or annihilation. She came home later, humming happily, but he didn't confront her. Playing the part of the perceptive fiancé, he talked about catering options and pretended to be interested in floral arrangements. A chilly calculation engine was raging inside. The recording wasn't all he needed. He required visual confirmation, he required leverage. Bianca made the somewhat too casual announcement that night that she had to meet with a local DJ to record a short reel for her page. After putting on her boots and adjusting her hair in the hallway mirror, she remarked, "It'll only be an hour, tops, there's no need to stay up." Stan forced a neutral smile as he nodded, but his stomach churned with suspicion. The justification sounded prepared. Almost too tidy, he reached for his keys as the door clicked behind her. He followed her through the streets, keeping a close distance and observing her make a few errant turns that were incomprehensible if she was going to a DJ's studio. She eventually entered a dimly lit restaurant in a familiar area of town, the same neighborhood Bobby was known to frequent. Exactly as he had feared, with his heart racing, Stan parked his car across the street. Stan watched Bianca enter Il Corvo, the tiny Italian eatery with the large front window, from the shadows on the other side of the street. He was there, Bobby, and she walked easily through the comfortable dining room, making her way directly to a table against the glass. Even at this distance, Stan recognized him immediately. He was too familiar with the old pictures. Bianca had never been able to completely remove herself from the extensive archives of her social media accounts. They were nestled into the side of a corner booth, not sitting rigidly across from one another like old friends catching up. Ignorant of the world outside, heads leaned in close. Watching Bobby lift a forkful of pasta toward Bianca made Stan's jaw tighten. Leaning in and smiling flirtatiously, she allowed him to feed her as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Simple, well-known, and accustomed. Stan felt sick to his stomach. He raised his phone, steadied his hand, and filmed from his car's driver's seat. The view was sufficiently clear through the large window of the restaurant. Unquestionably, there was body language, laughter, and shared smiles beneath the table lamp's gentle glow. Enough. Stan put the car in gear, lowered his phone, and pulled away from the curb without waiting for anything else. Stan got home and got to work. He transferred the audio file to his laptop by connecting Barnaby the Bear's hidden recorder. Bianca emphasizes Bobby Tape's clinical name. He then posted the Il Corvo video clip, Illinois Corvo confirmation. Ultimately, he backed up both files to a tiny, encrypted flash drive, the same type he relied on for important business tasks. Maximum protection for maximum treachery. With the evidence now secure and damning in his hands, he sat back and gazed at the dark screen for a long time, then he packed a bag, methodically. Only the necessities. Toiletries, a laptop, chargers, and a few outfit changes. He stopped and surveyed their immaculate apartment, which was replete with her tastefully chosen furnishings, her lingering fragrance, and her carefully curated aesthetic. Now everything seemed foreign, tainted. The flash drive was put in his pocket. Barnaby sat watchfully on the quiet couch as he left, gently shutting the door behind him. He headed for the impersonal anonymity of a hotel in the heart of the city. His phone began to buzz as he made his way through the city lights. His face flashed with grim satisfaction as he looked at the screen. Bianca. He chose to ignore the 35 missed calls and the deluge of texts that followed. Now that he had the data, she was a relevant noise. Execution came next. It was like walking into a command center when they checked into the immaculate hotel room. With his set face illuminated by the glow, Stan opened his laptop. Professional ruin is phase 1. He composed an email that was chillingly professional and succinct. The recipient was intended to be the head of marketing for the skincare company Bianca, regarding Bianca Hayes' brand ambassadorship and possible fraud. This is an urgent matter. He included the Bobby Tape, Bianca _ and the audio file. He presented the facts clearly in the body of the email. An audio recording of your brand ambassador, Bianca Hayes, making derogatory comments and discussing ways to fraudulently inflate engagement metrics is attached. He hit send, the mouse pad clicking like a gavel as he spoke about the quality of your product. It was satisfying to ruin her career. Yes, Stan, who planned this controlled demolition, had higher expectations. He desired humiliation in public. He wanted the very people she courted to see through her painstakingly constructed facade. He desired for everyone to see Bianca as she truly was. He required an unwilling accomplice to accomplish that. Bobby was essential to him. Bobby was easy to find. It was rather simple thanks to Stan's work-related abilities to sift through jumbled data. He had him after a few fast searches, cross-referencing names and locations Bianca had forgotten over the years. Bobby's place of employment, his marketing company, and even the bar he enjoyed going to after work. By the following afternoon, he was at the fancy downtown bar Bobby frequented during happy hour. There was Bobby, sipping a craft beer. Now, full force, Stan turned to face him. "How is Bianca doing?" His voice dripping venom, he asked. Bobby stood up. "Who are you?" "I'm the guy she's been coming home to after your little dinner dates." Stan snarled. Bobby gave him a forceful shove. Stan refused to give up. Sharply breathing through his nose, he pushed Bobby back harder. "How does it feel?" Stan snarled and moved in closer, acting like a goddamn thief as he snuck around with another man's fiancée. Despite being low, his voice was powerful. "Do you believe that you are authentic? You are merely the backup plan and the side act." Bobby swung his glass and threw it with a crash onto the bar. Feeling the rush of air past his cheek, Stan barely avoided him before lunging at him. They struggled, slamming into a table and toppling stools. Glass shattered as someone yelled. Two muscular security officers came running over and grabbed them both in a matter of seconds. Now, outside, one barked and pulled Stan to the door, while the other grappled with Bobby. The door slammed loudly behind them as the guards tossed them out onto the street like trash. With his fists still clenched, Stan stumbled to his feet. Bobby was already awake, pacing as if he were in a cage. It appeared for a moment that they might fight again. Bobby yelled, pushing a finger at Stan's chest. "She told me she was single." Stan froze, his breath catching in his throat. "No boyfriend, no fiancé." "What?" He lost his temper. "What on earth are you discussing?" "It's been 2 years since we moved in together." Staring at one another in shock, they stood there panting. Bobby's voice cracked with sudden comprehension. "You're telling me? Did you also not know about me?" Slowly, Stan shook his head, his anger changing and growing icy. "She played us," he said in a grim, low voice. "Both of us?" Bobby kicked a piece of gravel across the sidewalk and laughed bitterly. "Which," he whispered, Stan said, "then let's burn down our entire world." And their retaliation began in that shattered, resentful alliance. They drew out a plan over the course of the following hour, driven by whiskey and righteous rage, with Bobby's raw and explosive and Stan's carefully modulated. The strategist, Stan, led the discussion. The final piece came from Bobby, the insider who knew Bianca's schedule. "Bianca," Stan's phone buzzed on the counter as they sat at the bar, sipping fresh drinks and brewing their silent rage. Her name appeared on the screen, unaware and happy. The buzzing filled the space between them as Stan simply stared at it. He made no attempt to respond. Bobby said in a low voice, "You'd better text her back. Make sure she doesn't smell the smoke yet and keep her composed." Stan's jaw tightened as he slowly shook his head. He whispered, "I don't want to hear her voice." Rather, he reached for the phone and quickly typed a message. "Swamped after being pulled into a work call. Later, we can talk." Her response, a blowing kiss emoji, appeared a few seconds later. Stan swiveled the screen in Bobby's direction. Bobby shook his head and laughed bitterly. He muttered, "What a piece of work." The icy rage inside Stan only intensified as he set the phone face down on the bar. Riding high on her comeback strategy, Bianca was getting ready for a big celebration live stream the following day. The live stream was supposed to be her big moment, a way to correct the record and show off her amazing performance, all connected to the announcement of the new brand. Already, her fans were giddy with anticipation for her return. She was clueless and had nothing to raise suspicions. Bobby, as far as Bianca knew, remained faithful and assisted her in getting ready for the special evening. He made encouraging small talk, checked the sound, and assisted Bianca in setting up the lighting. Unaware that the noose was already tightening around her, she smiled at him. Ring lights cast a gentle, sultry glow over Bianca's apartment studio on screen. Sitting erect and wearing a well-practiced smile, she looked flawless. Heart emojis, welcome back messages, and congratulations were all over the live chat. Bianca chirped, her voice high and artificially bright, "Hey, glow-getters. I'm glad to see so many lovely faces here this evening. I am aware that there has been a lot of negativity lately, mainly due to miscommunications. It's all about moving forward tonight, though. She began her speech with a false sense of optimism and humility, making a passing reference to some personal struggles but never acknowledging anything specific. She then turned around and flashed a plain-looking moisturizer jar at the camera. She exclaimed, "This incredible new partnership is just the beginning." Supporting comments and applause emojis flooded the chat. Bobby's move was precisely the moment of her comeback that she had imagined. He spoke a little louder, still off camera, just outside the frame, as if he was filling in the time for her. "Would you mind if I asked you a quick question, Bianca?" Still brimming with self-assurance, Bianca turned to face him with that controlled, bright smile she had practiced in front of the mirror. She tossed her hair back and said, "Of course. Anything for my team?" Emojis of fire and hearts flitted through the chat. With his hands in his pockets and a casual smile on his face, Bobby entered the frame slowly. The image of a faithful partner. "Do you currently have a partner?" Calm, straight, as if it were nothing, he asked. For a brief moment, Bianca blinked. Her laugh was dismissive and gentle. "Me? Come on, you guys know me," she said, casting a playful glance at the camera. "The grind is my spouse. This image does not contain a man, just you guys, my vision, and me." The conversation erupted in a positive manner. "Yes, she is an icon, a queen, and a self-reliant woman. Do you adore this?" Bobby grinned firmly, but the smile was not reflected in his eyes. "No one at all," he repeated. "No partner behind the scenes, no relationship." Bianca stopped. There was a slight change in the tension in the room. Bobby's face grew a little more serious. He said slowly, still looking at her, "That's weird, since I mistakenly believed I was your boyfriend." Before exploding, the conversation froze. "What? Is this a skit? Is he serious, buddy? Is she telling lies?" Even in the ring lamp's smoothing light, Bianca's face turned red, clearly, distinctly red. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. Then she gave a high, thin laugh. With a shaky voice now, she said, okay, let's not get crazy. Bobby has been an incredible member of my team, but this is just a misunderstanding, okay?" Her smile was now quivering as she turned back to Bobby. "Is it possible for us to speak later? This is not the location." The front door opened at that moment. Stan entered the frame with composure. He was close enough for viewers to see him standing behind Bianca. Over her shoulder, in complete concentration, motionless, icy, and expressionless, Bianca's back tensed. She saw him in her screen's reflection rather than in person. She opened her mouth once more, but it was only a whisper this time. The conversation went crazy. "Stan. Is that her former partner? What's going on with the guys on stream? Whoa, is this live? It's real." Panicked and wild-eyed, Bianca spun toward him. "What on earth are you doing here, Stan?" Stan remained silent. He simply faced the camera and the thousands of people who were watching. "She is cheating on me. And I am her fiancé." Bianca took a step back, now clearly trembling. Her voice cracked as she said, This is set up. Both of you set me up." She tried to stop the stream by grabbing her phone, but Stan got there first. With composure, he picked up the phone from the table and kept it out of her grasp. "Return that," she cried. She snatched him, thrashing and scratching at his shoulders and arms. He did not respond. Shouting, she leaped onto his back and attempted to snatch the phone from over his shoulder. Everything was caught on camera, including the mayhem, the yelling, and the complete ruin of her meticulously crafted image. Bobby remained in the frame and used his own phone to record everything. His voice was steady but low as he looked at the camera. "For the record, I was unaware of him. She misled us both." Now, in between screams, Bianca was gasping for air. "Everything was ruined by you." Stan finally looked her in the eye and said, "No. You did." There were thousands of people watching, already, screen captures were being stored. Social media was flooded with screenshots. Right in front of their eyes, Bianca's meticulously constructed persona as the self-assured businesswoman and role model was crumbling. Furthermore, she was powerless to stop it. Hours later, the videos were widely shared. Trending on several platforms were #Bianca Meltdown, #Livestream Fail, and #Stan Walks In. Her recently announced secondary brand promptly released a statement ending the collaboration. Her once-priced metric, the number of her followers, started to bleed, falling by thousands every hour. The following morning, Stan went back to his apartment. She was there when he opened the door, still wearing the sweats from the previous night, red-eyed and unkempt. "Stan," she began, trying to sound composed but instantly losing it. "You ruined everything and ambushed me, you ruined everything," Stan said icily as he placed his keys on the counter. "You simply assumed I wouldn't know. You have no right to pretend to be a victim, you embarrassed me in front of everyone," she yelled, taking a step toward him. He ignored her as he made his way to the closet in the hall. "You no longer reside here," he stated bluntly. She was stunned and said, "Start packing." "I'm sorry." Stan took her suitcase out of the closet and threw it into the living room. She screamed when I told her, "Pack, you can't be serious, this is also my home, it's my name, my lease, my furnishings, and my finances. Not a single document has your name on it." He gave her a cool, collected, and icy look. She shoved his chest as she rushed toward him. "Throwing me out like trash because you think this makes you powerful?" Stan did not respond. He walked across the room and opened the door to the balcony. Then he started to carefully and methodically collect her belongings from the bathroom, the drawers, and the vanity. Her influencer life started to fly through the open door. The ring light is gone, the skincare box stack is gone. She lost 2 handbags that she had shown off in stories. "Stop it, Stan," she screamed, "why on earth are you doing this?" He didn't answer. "So you're crazy?" She shouted, "You are such a psycho. I'll sue you, you'll regret this." Calmly, he pulled out his phone and dialed. "Sure, I want to report someone who isn't leaving my property. I've asked her several times already. No, the lease does not include her." He ended the call. Now, cornered and sobbing, Bianca retreated against the wall. "I have nowhere else to go, so you can't do this to me." He looked at her for a while. "You didn't want your home, even though you had one," she tried to cry and explain when the police came. It was unsuccessful. As the officers escorted her out, Stan watched from the kitchen. Her hair was a mess, and her mascara was running. She held on to that bear, Barnaba, as if it were her last possession. She returned to Stan's apartment 2 days later, but Stan didn't immediately open his door when she did. After a full minute of staring through the peephole, he slowly and purposefully unlocked the door. Holding her phone like a shield, Bianca stood with her hair loose and her coat open. She said, "I'm pregnant," completely omitting the greeting. Stan blinked, then let out a single, dry, and acerbic laugh. "What?" "I said, I am pregnant," and she repeated, a little more slowly. "Stan, it's yours." He shook his head, his smile gone. Bianca tensed. "Nope." "Nope, what do you mean?" "I always use protection," he said, folding his arms. "You can't recall." She lowered her voice, like she was luring a dog from its cage. "Events do occur." "No," he made a sharp cut, "nothing took place. I was always cautious. Do you think I'd allow you to come close to me without it?" Suddenly louder, she snapped, "I'm not lying, my period was missed. I've completed 3 exams." "Nice," Stan said, "then a DNA test won't bother you." "Will it?" Bianca's mouth clenched. "Unless this is your most recent scam," he added slowly. She started, "I'm not some manipulative liar." With a low voice, he stepped forward and said, "You're exactly that. And I'll call the police once more if you come here." She winced. He said, "You can leave now." Without saying another word, Bianca turned and stormed down the hall, her shoulders stiff and her anger radiating out in waves. Stan didn't see her leave, he simply locked the door and closed it. It appeared inadvertently on his feed 3 months later. The same face, new handle, and new account, fit, sleek appearance, gym reels, and Bianca Hayes posing in leggings. No mention of pregnancy. No baby bump. Not a single post about anything related to pregnancy. It was merely a ploy. She wasn't pregnant when she approached him. She posted a new chapter with a polished caption that was stronger than ever. No more drama, Stan grinned, leaned back in his chair, and let out a slow breath. The same old Bianca, another performance, another lie, but no longer his issue.